For years, the public has treated the Epstein network like a sprawling mystery. The private islands, the wealth, and the whispered rumors of a high society syndicate operating in plain sight have fueled a decade of speculation. In early 2026, the Department of Justice addressed that speculation. In compliance with the Epstein Files Transparency Act, the agency published nearly 3.5 million pages of internal documents, along with hundreds of thousands of images and videos. The release triggered an immediate internet frenzy. Thousands of investigators began scouring flight logs and unredacted black books to identify notable politicians and celebrities within the data. The Justice Department attached an explicit warning to this production, noting the inclusion of unverified, publicly submitted media. They specifically highlighted unfounded and false claims submitted to the FBI to smear President Trump right before the 2020 election. This archive is a chaotic, devastating mountain of raw legal and forensic data collected from 5 separate federal and local jurisdictions over the course of several decades. Treating this complex legal dump as a simple celebrity gossip list obscures the systemic criminal mechanics that this evidence finally exposes. The empirical foundation of this network begins in local police departments, far away from the high society circles of New York or London. This 2006 Palm Beach incident report details a meeting between detectives and a 17-year-old girl. The raw formatting captures the cold reality of the grooming process. The detectives recorded coercive tactics. Epstein bought the minor Victoria's Secret undergarments, pressuring her to model them in his home. These police narratives document a grim, transactional reality of exploitation, standing in sharp contrast to the glamorous billionaire lifestyle portrayed in the media for years. The predatory mechanics described in these reports form the core of the criminal network, focusing the story on the facts of the crime rather than the fame of those nearby. As investigations progressed into the federal court system, the network's enablers deployed aggressive legal defense mechanisms to shield their operations from discovery. Ghislaine Maxwell's deposition transcripts demonstrate how the network used high-stakes litigation to evade accountability. Under oath, Maxwell employed stalling tactics. When asked about her relationship with an associate, she refused to answer directly, instead demanding that the attorney provide a formal definition of the word relationship. Similar evasion tactics appear throughout her questioning regarding trips taken with powerful politicians, such as former President Bill Clinton. These maneuvers serve to protect the orbit of power she helped maintain. In her own deposition, Virginia Giuffre encountered similar friction. When opposing lawyers queried her about statements attributed to her in the press, she repeatedly refused to provide an answer until they produced the specific documents for her to review. Legal discovery also probed the financial web insulating the network, specifically targeting the funding links between Maxwell's nonprofit organizations and various global foundations. These unsealed transcripts reveal how the legal system was weaponized for decades to insulate wealth from any meaningful consequence. The heavy redactions found throughout the 3.5 million pages have been a primary source of frustration for those seeking a total unmasking of the network. The Justice Department tasked over 500 attorneys with a specific mandate. Redactions were to be strictly limited to the protection of victims and their families. The DOJ applied a default standard to explicit imagery, treating every woman depicted in certain files as a victim to ensure their total privacy and dignity. Survivors' lawyers also petitioned the department directly, providing lists of names to ensure their clients were retroactively redacted from the public production. These black bars represent hard-fought protective victories for the survivors, securing their privacy against the same public gaze that failed to protect them years ago. These 3.5 million pages offer no cinematic ending and no singular villain who can take the blame for the entire system. The sheer volume of legal paperwork, the depositions, motions, and incident reports serves as final proof of a systemic failure where wealth bought silence. Ultimately, this release shifts the focus away from the perpetrators and toward the vindication of the survivors who fought for this transparency. The Transparency Act provides a permanent, official validation of the lived horrors experienced by these individuals. This permanent legal ledger ensures that the network's enablers can no longer gaslight the public or suppress the history of what occurred. Ultimate transparency cements an undeniable historical truth for the victims, placing their experiences beyond the reach of those who would silence them.